Shocking Temptations, Unveiling Biblical Truths That Haunt US Today at 3 a.m. The clock struck 3, that witching hour when shadows grow restless and the air feels thick with secrets. The moon hung low, casting eerie light across deserted streets, and something unsettling stirred in the stillness. It was the hour when whispers carried weight, and when horrors long buried began to crawl back to the surface. Each tick of the clock felt like a drumbeat, pulsing with the unknown. People felt it an inexplicable urge to peek through the dark that in an old house at the end of a quiet alley. A strange glow flickered in the attic window. No ordinary light, this one flickered like a candle caught in an unseen wind. Local kids dared each other to come close, but their bravado melted away, replaced by goosebumps and a knot of dread in their stomachs. They spoke in hushed tones about the old man who had vanished there a year ago, how he whispered insane truths about the scriptures, truths that stirred something deep in the souls of the curious. Even now, you could hear the wind howl through the cracks in the wooden beams, like voices lost to time. The house creaked, holding its breath, and every whispering rustle brought a rush of fear that sent shivers down the spine. What secrets lived within its walls? What dark thoughts echoed in the attic, calling out, beckoning? But the eeriness didn't stop there. Just beyond the house, the trees rustled, as if nature itself was holding back information vital to the living. An unsettling sense of meaning lingered like the fog rolling in. What kind of truths was the world keeping hidden? They said you could ask a question at this hour and face the answers no matter how chilling. Would anyone dare? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. A flicker in the attic drew the attention of a brave soul, Jenna, who had always been a magnet for trouble. Her heart raced, pulsed with adrenaline, as she stepped toward the wild rumors. There, within the confines of that old house, was a presence so palpable, it felt like a shroud wrapping around her. What could she uncover tonight? The air crackled, as if every secret was waiting on her next move. Would she unlock a truth that could reshape reality? The night held its breath. What would she find when she reached that attic door? Every bone in her body screamed to turn back, yet the meddling curiosity pulled her forward. What were the old man's secrets? And would they haunt her, too? The attic door loomed before Jenna, a wooden guardian to secrets that begged to be uncovered. Her breath quickened, the chill in the air biting down, sending goosebumps racing across her skin. Each creak of the floorboards beneath her feet felt like an ominous warning, urging her to step back. Yet, that flickering light was like a siren, pulling her closer to the threshold. With trembling hands, Jenna reached for the doorknob. It felt cold, almost alive under her grip. She turned it slowly, the hinges protesting with a low groan that echoed off the walls, as if the house itself was awakening from a long slumber. She hesitated, taking a moment to gather her courage, her heart pounding louder than the wind howling outside. Behind that door, truth or madness awaited. Pushing the door open, darkness greeted her like an old friend. The attic was cramped, filled with musty boxes and cobwebs hanging like curtains. She strained her eyes, finally spotting the source of the flickering light, a single candle illuminating a circle of scattered papers strewn across the floor. Each page looked aged, frayed at the edges, like ancient relics whispering stories long forgotten. Jenna took a cautious step inside, the wooden floor creaking under her weight. That unmistakable scent of mildew and dust danced around her, mixing with an urgency that made her skin crawl. What was this place? She shivered, not from the cold, but from the palpable sense of foreboding lingering in the air. As she moved closer to the candle, the shadows played tricks on her mind, twisting her fears into grotesque shapes. Jenna tried to steady her breath, flicking glances around the cramped space. She could feel the weight of unseen eyes upon her, a creeping sensation that she was not alone. But who or what could be hiding in the corners of this forgotten chamber? The flicker of the candle drew her in. She knelt down, reaching for one of the tattered papers. It was a passage from the Bible, but not just any passage. These words glowed with a shimmering light, revealing twisted interpretations that haunted Jenna's mind. The themes of redemption and damnation danced together like flames in the night, igniting every nerve in her body. Obscure truths reveal themselves at the witching hour, she muttered to herself, feeling both scared and exhilarated. What if the old man had finally passed his revelations on to her? But there was something sinister coiling around those words, a warning buried deep within their meaning. A sudden noise echoed behind her, making her jump. The sound of shuffling footsteps, soft but unmistakable, came from the doorway she had just entered. The grating sound of a familiar voice swept over her. "You shouldn't have come here, Jenna." Her heart raced as she spun around. Who was there? Panic surged through her veins. The candle flickered violently as if sensing her fear, casting elongated shadows that twisted across the walls. She could feel the air thickening, suppressing her breath, and ringing in her ears. "Run!" the voice echoed again, barely above a whisper, yet it bore an unmistakable threat. Jenna felt a primal urge to flee, but her feet wouldn't move. The attic door stood ajar, a gaping maw of uncertainty as shapes swirled in the darkness around her. What lay beyond could be just as terrifying as whatever lurked within the shadows. What secrets were about to be unveiled? What dreadful truth awaited her, threatening to tear apart her very understanding of reality? Jenna's mind raced as she debated her next move, the stillness around her suffocating. All she knew was a choice loomed large, and the clock still ticked, seconds echoing like a countdown. With her heart thundering in her chest, Jenna forced herself to take a step backward, but then, like a rusted cog moving reluctantly, she turned toward the source of the whisper. The shadows in the doorway shifted, revealing a figure cloaked in deep darkness, its features obscured but its intentions clear. The chill in the air intensified, wrapping around her like a vice. "Who are you?" Her voice trembled as she clutched the candle, its feeble flame wavering against the oppressive darkness. The figure took a small step forward, and with it, the air crackled like frayed electric wires sparking with danger. "Careful, Jenna," the voice murmured again, smoother this time, but with an undercurrent of malice. It was the old man, the one everyone in the town spoke about in hushed tones, the one who had warned her against the secrets buried in this house. She had never feared him before, but now, the skin on the back of her neck prickled with terror. The attic felt alive around her, the wood creaking as though it were breathing, excited at the impending confrontation. Jenna's body froze as memories flooded back, stories her mother told her of shadows lurking in their family history, whispers of something cursed. Something guarded in this very attic. "Why shouldn't I be here?" Jenna challenged, her voice stronger than she felt. But a part of her hoped that by standing her ground, she'd somehow quell the fears creeping through her mind. "You're unprepared," the figure said, stepping into the candlelight. Jenna caught a glimpse of his eyes, dark and void-like, pulling her in. "You think you seek truth, yet you are not ready for what you will find. The papers you hold, they will consume you." Jenna glanced down at the fragile pages on the floor. They seemed to hiss softly, the ink squirming as if trying to escape her grasp. Panic surged, and she instinctively raised the candle higher, casting the light further into the shadows. Desperation clawed at her throat. "I'm not afraid of the truth," she declared, but her own conviction wavered. The old man laughed, a dry, crackling sound that echoed around the attic. It was devoid of warmth, like bones rattling in the wind. "Even the brightest light can be extinguished." He moved closer, his breath a suffocating fog, filling her with dread. Jenna could feel it pressing down on her, dark and heavy. Suddenly, the candle flickered wildly, as if responding to his words, before going out entirely. Darkness enveloped her, and a surge of icy fright rushed through her veins. She was plunged into uncertainty, her eyes struggling to adjust to the pitch blackness. "Find it," he whispered, his voice swirling around her like smoke. "The truth, Jenna. Embrace what you fear, only then will you see the light. What truth? She screamed into the darkness, feeling as if the shadows were closing in around her. Who are you really? He replied, and she sensed him closer now, the heat of his presence brushing against her skin. You've only scratched the surface. With a sudden burst of adrenaline, Jenna frantically felt around her, searching for anything to ground herself. She found herself yearning for the candle, its flame now snuffed, like her brave resolve. The air shifted again as if the attic itself was alive with energy, a storm brewing within its walls. All I wanted was the truth. She shouted, clenching her fists. I deserve to know. A chill swept through her, a profound, dreadful emptiness that filled every corner of her mind. Suddenly, the candle reignited, flickering to life, and in that glow, she caught movement at the edges of the attic. Shapes formed, distant yet familiar, twisting in and out of reality. The past reached to grasp her, fraying the fabric of her sanity. Jenna felt her breath hitch, fear coiling tightly around her heart. What would she discover in the depths of their secrets? As shadows danced closer, cloaked in uncertainty, Jenna trembled. Was opening Pandora's box truly worth it? Would she find clarity or drown in chaos? In the echo of her question, the shadows seemed to whisper back an invitation, a warning and something far darker. The candle's flame flickered wildly, illuminating shapes that darted around her. Jenna's heart raced, and a thin layer of sweat coated her palms. Memories swirled in her mind, echoes of whispers, the remnants of long-buried secrets. The old man's presence loomed larger as shadows twisted like serpents ready to strike. Embrace what you fear, his voice slithered through the darkness. The words wrapped around her, squeezing tighter with each passing moment. Jenna's instincts screamed at her to flee, to run from this cursed attic, but there was nowhere to go. The door was still hidden behind layers of shadowed secrets, the air felt thick, almost electric. Geared with a sense of urgency, she focused on the pages scattered at her feet, each one pulsating with a dark energy, begging her to uncover their stories. What did they hold? Was it truth or a trap? Jenna, he hissed, almost mockingly, you think you can handle the weight of your heritage? Taking a shaky breath, she bent to pick up one of the papers. It felt cool against her fingertips, sending a jolt of awareness through her. What does this mean? She dared to ask, trying to mask her trembling voice with steel. The old man stepped closer, shadows swirling around him. It means you tread paths that are not meant for you. Your family's legacy was crafted in pain, their sins are sewn into these very pages. Then show me. She spat, anger igniting within her. If it's my truth, I have the right to know. He tilted his head, intrigue flashing in his void-like eyes. Very well, but know this, the truth is a difficult companion. It may reveal a part of you that you wish to forget. Without awaiting her response, the air changed. The shadows merged, taking form as flickering images, a scene from the past. Jenna blinked against the sudden brightness that erupted in the otherwise dark attic. The room transformed around her. She saw a woman, her mother, standing faced with another figure, a man whose face appeared haunted, full of regret. Words erupted, half-shouted, tinged with desperation and sadness. I didn't mean for it to happen. You have to believe me. The man raised his arms, trembling, revealing flashes of something shiny, something terrible. It was never my intention. I thought I could control it. Jenna's stomach dropped. As fragments of their heated exchange echoed in her ears, she felt pulled into the memory, yearning to understand. What was it? She whispered, the question slipping from her lips like a prayer. Then the scene splintered, crashing into darkness as the old man's laughter echoed in the air, a rite of passage she never asked for. Look deeper, Jenna, the truth you seek lies beyond love or hatred. It lives in the choices we make, the ones that bind us to our fate. A chill washed over her like icy water. Clarity pierced through her fog as she realized it wasn't just about her mother's past. It was also about her own decisions, those she had ignored to search simply for truth. Stop! She shouted. You can't bait me with shadows of guilt. Can't I? He stepped back, revealing a deeper darkness behind him, as if the attic expanded into an endless abyss. You have only just begun, Jenna. The choices lurking in your history are waiting to be unearthed. Panic surged once again. I want to be a pawn in this game. But the candle flickered once more, almost in agreement, and shadows coiled tighter. The old man smiled, a cruel grin that echoed in her mind, dragging her deeper into turmoil. What more would she uncover? What hidden truths haunted her family, ready to claw their way to the surface? In the depth of her fear, the question lingered: was she ready to rewrite her destiny, or would she be consumed by the dark choices of the past? In that instant, the shadows began whispering again, a chorus that clawed at her sanity, leaving Jenna teetering on the brink. What would she discover next when all secrets demanded to be told? The shadows undulated around Jenna like a living entity, creeping into her thoughts and wrapping around her heart. Each flicker of the candlelight revealed more pages strewn about, their edges worn and yellowed, bearing witness to generations of anguish. She could feel the heaviness of the past pressing down, urging her to confront what lay hidden in their faded ink. Why are you doing this? Jenna demanded, desperation weeping into her voice. The old man's expression remained neutral, but his eyes danced with a malicious spark. Because you need to face the truth, he replied, his voice echoing like an ominous wind through the attic. Your mother's sins are a reflection of your own. They are intertwined, bound by blood and consequence. No. Jenna shrieked, shaking her head, her breath coming in ragged bursts. I'm nothing like her. I'm not defined by her mistakes. But doubt wormed its way in as she caught another glimpse of the swirling shadows. They morphed again, transforming into a different scene, this one more vivid and visceral. It was a dark night, rain pouring down, and she saw her mother standing at the edge of a cliff. Jenna's breath hitched. No, she gasped, the dreadful feeling that this was more than just a memory tangled itself around her. The figure stumbled, tears streaming down her face as she screamed into the darkness, I didn't want this life. Help me. The old man leaned in closer, whispering, this is where it all began the moment she chose to end it. Your choices begin at the same precipice. A chill shot through Jenna, plunging into her very core. How many times had she felt that same hopelessness brewing in her soul? How many times had she stood at her own cliffs, grappling with decisions that could lead her toward darkness or light? But I have control. She shouted, fighting against the tide of despair. I can change it. Can you? His laughter echoed again, reverberating off the walls as if mocking her resolve. Your fate is written in the same ink that defined your mother's choices. To change it, you must confront her lies and the inheritances she bequeathed to you. The flame flickered again, casting shadows that loomed larger, pressing in on her. The memory of her mother at the edge faded, replaced by another scene, one that twisted into a sickening spiral. She saw the same man from before, this time holding a small child, Jenna herself, but she felt distant, as if trapped behind glass. Trust me, Jenna. I will keep you safe. He had said, the echo of his words twisting her heart. I never trusted him, Jenna murmured, realizing there lay the foundation of every choice she now faced. Betrayal, vulnerability, the fear of abandonment. The old man's presence turned suffocating as she fought from losing herself to the memories. Choice is an illusion, built on fear, he hissed, his voice low and soothing, dripping with malevolence. You will always circle back to this moment, knowing that deep inside, you are not immune to the same storm. Enough. Jenna screamed again, knowing she needed to break free. She lunged for the scattered pages, grasping them tightly as if they were her lifeline. Yet, she felt a strange pull to the shadows, like they were alive, whispering secrets meant just for her. I will not be your puppet. She declared, her voice finally steady, fueled by the resolve forming inside her, but as she ripped free the closest page, a blinding light erupted, casting the attic into a strobe of brilliance. The shadows writhed and shrieked, fighting against the light. The old man stumbled back, his form flickering like a broken projection. You've unleashed more than you know, Jenna. The truth is a tempest, and it will come for you. And then darkness swallowed the light. Jenna was plunged into an unfathomable void, nothing tangible to grasp. The sensation of falling washed over her, error seeping back in like a tide. As the whispers stirred anew, they transformed into a cacophony drawing near, each voice an echo of her past, each a potential future. Unraveled. Jenna, you must make a choice. What choice would she make? Would it lead to salvation or doom? Each decision reverberated like a heartbeat, urging her to awaken to possibilities yet unknown. In that moment of infinite possibilities, the question hung heavy in the thick silence: would she seize the truth and emerge, or would she let herself drown in the darkness once more? Jenna felt her heart pound as the darkness pressed in, the whispers swirling around her like a tempest. They were close now, each voice distinct yet blending into one haunting symphony beckoning her. Choose, choose, they murmured, reverberating off the nothingness, filling her with dread. Suddenly, the void cracked. A faint light began to seep through, illuminating a path bathed in a soft, ghostly glow. Jenna knew she had to make a decision, but every instinct screamed to turn back, to plunge deeper into the safety of the shadows. Jenna, a voice whispered, familiar yet distant. It was her mother's. Just the sound of it sent chills down her spine. You can escape. Just say the word. Escape. Jenna echoed, her voice trembling. Escape to what? More lies. I only wanted to protect you, her mother's voice faltered, a painful edge creeping in. You can break free from this from him. The shadows shifted, swirling around Jenna, making her feel small and trapped. Stop! She cried, clenching her fists. I'm not going to play this game anymore. I can face the truth. She took a hesitant step forward, the light growing warmer, wrapping around her like a blanket. In response, the shadows recoiled, hissing like a wounded beast. Truth. The old man's voice slithered through the air. You think you can handle it? It's a double-edged sword, Jenna. One side can save you, the other it will cut you to the core. With every word, Jenna felt both fear and fury slam into her chest. The old man's warnings buzzed in her head, but the growing light called to her like an anchor in the storm. She steadied her breath, picturing herself at the cliff's edge again, her mother's south mournful figure so close yet eternally unreachable. I refuse to be bound by her pain. Jenna yelled, the words pouring out like fire, battling the encroaching shadows. She made her choices. I will make mine. The moment hung pregnant in the air, charged. For all the chaos, a fragile calm descended around Jenna. She closed her eyes, reached out, and stepped into the light. In an instant, the attic disappeared, and the air crackled with energy. She found herself standing in a small, dimly lit room, shelves lined with dusty affirmations and forgotten dreams. Was this another memory? She squinted, trying to make sense of what lay before her, and there was a massive mirror, cracked but still reflecting a version of her. Not the one she often saw, riddled with self-doubt, but a fierce, determined face staring back. This was the Jenna who had survived against all odds, who had been fueled by an insatiable desire for truth. Look closely, the old man's voice echoed from all corners. What do you see? Jenna leaned in, studying the reflection, the fragments of glass catching glimmers of light, showing flashes of faces from her past friends, family, even fleeting glimpses of her mother. But beneath the surface, something lurked, a shadow of uncertainty that sneered back at her. I see my choices. Jenna gasped, realization dawning. All the moments I ran instead of confronting. All the times I've let fear dictate my path. Exactly, he hissed in delight. But are you brave enough to confront what lies ahead? A hard knot of dread formed in her stomach, but there was also a flicker of hope. I am. I can't keep running. The edges of the mirror darkened as she spoke those words, and a door emerged from the gleaming surface. Jenna's pulse quickened, knowing it was a threshold, another choice to step through. Go on, Jenna, the old man urged, his presence thickening. Face the darkness that holds your truth. But be prepared. What you uncover may shatter you. With a resolute breath, Jenna grasped the doorknob, her heart thundering in her chest. She glanced back one last time to the fractured reflection. Whatever it takes. With a jolt, she turned the knob and stepped through. But just as the door swung wide, a force gripped her, and in an instant, she was pulled into that vortex again, caught between reality and a truth she was still terrified to unveil, and just as she thought she was free, the cacophony of voices erupted anew. Choose wisely. As the darkness enfolded her once more, one question clawed at her mind: what awaited her on the other side of the truth? The moment Jenna crossed the threshold, she was thrown into a swirling cyclone of light and shadow, blinding her for a heartbeat. Her senses reeled, the harsh whispers morphing into melodic tones that echoed like a siren's call through her consciousness. As she steadied herself, the familiar yet distorted landscapes of her childhood loomed around her. Welcome back, Jenna, the old man's voice coiled around her. Can you feel it? The weight of every choice. The gravity of each step you took away from the truth. The room she stood in began to solidify, revealing a long hall lined with doors, each one different, some ornate, others rusted and decaying. An oppressive weight pressed down on her as visions flickered, teasing her with memories. Laughter echoed from behind one door, but another whispered secrets laced with heartache. Jenna swallowed hard, her throat dry. Anxiety clawed at her gut, but she pushed it aside. What do I do now? She asked, her voice steady despite the chaos swirling around her. Choose. His voice pierced through the disorientation, resonating with a tenacity that echoed her deepest fears. Behind each door lies a piece of your truth. One reveals what you have avoided, while another may show you what you wish you had. Why do I need to see it? Jenna protested, anger flaring inside her. I've faced so much already. You've only skimmed the surface, he replied, his tone dripping with condescension. The real depths lie beneath. You wanted to confront your choices, now you must embrace them. She glared at him, pulse racing as she surveyed the doors, each glimmering invitation to a painful past. A shattering memory appeared next to her, a voice of doubt whispering, what if you don't want to see what's behind the door? Her feet hesitated, trembling slightly. But even as fear coursed through her, a stronger feeling surged forth, a relentless urge to discover her own power, to reclaim the narrative of her life. Enough. She snapped, surprising herself. I'll face it. I will choose. With a leap of resolve, Jenna walked toward the door that shimmered with hope yet felt heavy with regret. Its surface was smooth, glowing with an almost comforting warmth. She reached out, and as her fingers brushed against the cool wood, sudden fear flashed before her. What if there was nothing but more darkness? Choose wisely. Echoed the voices again, whispering fear and doubt, but Jenna pressed on. She turned the knob and swung the door wide open. Instead of darkness, a blinding light burst forth, momentarily disorienting her. Slowly, vision returned, revealing a scene that made Jenna's breath hitch. She stood in the middle of her childhood home, a living room she recognized instantly. This was where she had spent countless hours, both happy and agonizing. Mom. Jenna called, her heart racing. Is anyone here? The room was filled with echoes, laughter, arguments, the clatter of dishes, the soft hum of music from her past. But then she noticed a figure at the far end, shrouded in light, almost ethereal. It was her mother, smiling gently but with eyes that sparkled with unspoken sorrows. Jenna, the voice was soft, but the weight behind it felt like 1,000 stones pressing down on her chest. Why did you leave me? Jenna blurted, emotions spinning wildly within her. Why didn't you fight for me? The light flickered, casting shadows across her mother's face. You must understand, my heart sometimes love is letting go. As Jenna's heart crumbled, the room morphed, shifting into memories of moments not quite forgotten yet painfully unclear. The silhouette of her mother shifted, growing faint. You have to find the strength to forgive yourself. Tears brimmed in Jenna's eyes as the realization consumed her mother's choices and her own had weaved a complex tapestry of pain, regret, and unyielding love. Forgive? She whispered, the gravity of the word echoing in her mind. Yes, dear, her mother faded, her final words lingering in the air. Before you can face what's next. With a shuddering breath, Jenna stepped forward, but the light began to dim, and shadows lurked at the edges once more. What would she find when she could finally forgive? Would it bring solace or more haunting revelations? But just as she turned to flee, the old man's laughter cut through the darkness. Oh, the truth hurts, but the journey has just begun, Jenna. In that instant, Jenna felt an unseen force grip her, dragging her back into the cold embrace of shadows. What awaited her in the dark? Would she find the courage to face her own reflection, even when it was terrifyingly familiar? The shadows tightened around Jenna, coiling like smoke, darkening the room until she was enveloped in an unsettling silence. Heart pounding, she twisted to push through the now solid door, but it wouldn't budge. Panic clawed at her throat as the light from her childhood home was swallowed by the inky darkness. Let go of the past, Jenna, the old man's voice rang out, echoing in the abyss. You cannot exist in both spaces. Decisions must be made. With every ounce of strength, Jenna cried out, I'll make it. Just let me go back. No answer came. Instead, a cold breeze swept through, brushing against her skin like the ghost of an unwanted touch. She shivered, fighting back the rising tide of despair. Memories flitted through her mind like fireflies in the night, illuminating moments of joy and pain she both cherished and wished away. Suddenly, a flicker of light pierced the murk, illuminating a door just ahead. It was unmarked and cracked at the edges, radiating an energy that felt urgent, almost desperate. Jenna's breath quickened. She had to know what lay beyond. It was a choice, and the thrill mixed with dread sent her heart racing. She lunged for the door, yanking it open with a primal scream, and stumbled through just as the shadows began to close in around her. On the other side, she gasped. The room was vast and blindingly white, filled with a brightness that felt almost alive. Wisps of luminous light drifted above her, and the air shimmered with an electric anticipation. But then she looked down and her breath caught again. The floor was covered with mirrors, each reflecting a different aspect of her life. A younger Jenna stood there, wearing a triumphant smile as she accepted a trophy, surrounded by friends. In another, she was crying on her bed, the weight of the world pressing down on her. Jenna's voice echoed from above. She squinted into the blinding light and caught sight of a figure on a pedestal, eyes glinting like polished stones. You've held on to your pain for too long. Who are you? She shouted, desperation clawing at her voice. You know who I am, the figure replied, voice cascading like a waterfall of understanding. I am the truth you've avoided. You seek answers, yet you fear what they may reveal. As if sensing her trepidation, the figure's features shifted until they mirrored those of her mother, soft and inviting, yet laced with judgment. You bring your choices to light, but forgiveness is the only way ahead. Forgiveness, Jenna muttered, tasting the word on her tongue. She clenched her fists, wrestling with her own mind. How can I forgive someone who left me? The figure stepped closer, its eyes loaded with an ancient wisdom. Forgiveness doesn't mean absolving the pain, Jenna. It means freeing yourself from shackles of resentment. You must face it, the love you seek is intertwined with the hurt. As the air thickened, Jenna felt a rush of emotions crashing against her. Anger, sorrow, fear, they all churned inside her, making her dizzy. What if I can't? The figure's smile faded, and its shimmering radiance dimmed. Then you're lost, forever spinning in choices unacknowledged. Just as the gravity of those words sank in, the mirrors shattered around her, sending shards flying into the air like meteors. Each piece reflected fragments of her life, memories and choices that had built this intricate prison. She screamed, raising her arms in desperate self-protection. From the chaos, the old man's laughter echoed again, resonating through the broken glass. "Oh, how splendidly the truth cuts, isn't it, Jenna? Will you break or will you rise from the pieces?" Jenna felt the heat of determination flaring inside her as she scrambled to her feet. "I won't be a prisoner anymore," she shouted, heart racing like a wild drum. As she surveyed the scattered shards glinting on the ground, one piece caught her eye, a reflection of her own face, determined and fierce. With newfound resolve, she took a step toward that reflection, a burning question igniting in her mind. Could she truly embrace every facet of her life, even the most painful? The air shimmered again as she prepared to reach out. But just before her fingers touched the glass, a shadow loomed behind her, wrapping around her throat, squeezing tightly. "Will you be strong enough?" The voice was within her now, echoing doubt and fear. The darkness pulsed as Jenna felt herself slipping, her resolve wavering. What would it take to break free? She inhaled deeply, but before she could respond, the mirror shattered completely, scattering the remnants across the ground like a million tiny stars. What lay ahead in the dark? Would she find the strength to confront her reflection, or would she crumble under the weight of her own truth? As the echoes of glass crunched underfoot, a thunderous roar of silence enveloped Jenna. She stood in the remnants of shattered mirrors, the illuminated room flickering around her like a dying bulb, each dark corner threatening to swallow her whole. Fear tightened her throat, but it was something else, a growing rage that urged her forward, demanding she confront what lay ahead. "Face the truth, Jenna." The shadow's voice slinked around her, lingering in the air, trying to tether her from her resolve. "You have no power here without acknowledgement of your past." Sweat trickled down her spine, yet she refused to shatter under its weight. She tightened her fists, pulse racing. "You won't win. I won't let you trap me anymore." She yelled into the dark, stepping away from the jagged shards and deeper into the uncertainty of the room. With each step, the soft lighting began to shift, illuminating more mirrors, each housing a different Jenna, some vibrant and alive, others cloaked in sadness. One mirror flickered like an old film reel, showing her sitting alone at a lunch table during high school, friends laughing but always just out of reach. Another captured a moment of her standing by her mother's grave, tears streaming down her cheeks, a world of pain sinking into her bones. "Do you see?" the shadow taunted. "This is who you are. You cannot escape it." Jenna trembled, every haunting face reminding her of moments she desperately wanted to forget, but the anger motivated her, sparking her determination. "These memories do not own me. They are a part of me, yes, but they don't define who I'll become." The air around her thickened, crackling with energy, as if the very walls were responding to her defiance. When she looked into one of the mirrors again, it showed her a future, a glimpse of Jenna thriving, in love, and happy. The image was striking, it drew her in like a moth to a flame. But wasn't she flawed? Didn't all those abandoned pieces mean she wasn't worthy? "Remember," the voice whispered, like grim shadows lapping at her confidence. "What lies ahead is filled with darkness." But beneath the suffocating thoughts was a flicker of hope, breathing life into her resolve. Bursting with a need to reclaim her power, Jenna shouted, "Every scar tells a story. You won't keep me bound." The shadow recoiled, hesitating for just a beat. Jenna seized her chance, stepping closer to the shining image in the mirror. With every inch, raw memories surfaced, prompting her heart to race. The warmth of hope felt like sunlight breaking through a fog. "Let go of your regrets. Choose to forgive yourself." Her voice erupted in the silence. The air shimmered, vibrating with the power of her declaration. Suddenly, the radiant image began to swirl, intertwining with the shards scattered across the floor. Each glimmer held the promise of her future, filled with acceptance, while Richard's laughter echoed faintly in the background. The oppressive darkness began to wane, flickering against the energized light emanating from within her. "Let us do this together," she murmured quietly, fortifying her heart. As her fingers reached toward the mirror, a violent pull yanked her back. The shadow surged, twisting and morphing, whispering haunting reminders of her failures into her ear. She struggled against the darkness that threatened to pull her down again, but Jenna could feel the warmth of hope engulf her. She was tired of hiding. "You have no hold on me," she exclaimed, yanking herself free of the shadow's grasp. As she touched the mirror's surface, an explosion of light erupted around her. The floor shook with primal energy, and a clear voice echoed through the chaos. "What do you choose, Jenna? Will you choose light or shadow? Freedom or despair?" Jenna's heart thundered. She had to respond. But just at that moment, images blurred and reshaped into something else entirely, a figure slowly emerging to join her, familiar yet shrouded in a dark cloud. "Mom!" She gasped, disbelief flooding her senses. Would this figure bring answers, or more torment? Was this an opportunity for connection? Or a trap meant to ensnare her once more? The figure stepped closer, the darkness parting like a curtain but refusing to reveal her face. Jenna's heart raced. "Mom, is it really you?" Soft, familiar warmth enveloped her from the shadows. "I've watched you, Jenna. You fought so hard to understand. But you need to know why I left, what drove me to that moment. I thought you didn't care." Jenna shouted, desperation sharpening her words. "You abandoned us." With each word, pain lanced through her chest. "I was scared. I was drowning in my own choices. But I never wanted to hurt you." The pain in her mother's voice pierced through the shadows. The room shook, flickering with chaotic energy as images of her past flashed around. Memories twisted into painful reminders of her mother's struggles, moments of despair, and choices that felt suffocating. "Then why didn't you fight for me?" Jenna demanded, tears streaming from her eyes. "I thought it was for the best. I was trying to protect you, but in doing so, I lost myself. I lost the chance to show you love that was honest, raw. You deserved that." The figure stepped closer, light radiating from within, illuminating the contours of her face, soft, regretful, yet full of love. "Tell me what I need to do," Jenna pleaded, feeling the weight of generations pressing down on her. "I'm ready to confront this. I want to forgive." Her mother's features softened, and the darkness lightened slightly, revealing a way forward. "Forgiveness begins with acknowledging the pain. It's not easy, but it's necessary." And just like that, Jenna understood. She could break the chains of resentment that tied her to both the darkness and the past. "I've clung to my pain for so long," she admitted, looking deeply into her mother's eyes. "But I want to free myself for both of us. Then let it go. You are more than what happened. Embrace who you are and choose light over shadow. You have the strength, Jenna. You always have," her mother urged, hope shining through the struggle. Jenna's resolve solidified, and the air thickened with electricity. "I choose light. I choose to forgive, to let go of the pain." As she shouted those words, an explosion of light erupted, chasing away the shadows pressing in on her. The darkness screeched, contorting in agony as it was pushed back, revealing glimpses of peace and possibility. Jenna stepped forward, and for the first time, she felt truly free. The remnants of the past swirled around her like leaves in an autumn breeze. She gazed into her mother's eyes, no longer filled with hatred and resentment but a shared understanding of the love that had endured through pain. "I know what I must face now. I can forgive you, but I also forgive myself," she proclaimed firmly. The swirling light intensified, wrapping around her like a comforting embrace, filling her with warmth, love, and a sense of belonging she had long searched for. Then, with a final smile, her mother faded into the light. "Remember, Jenna, you carry this love with you, always." And just like that, the room transformed fully, casting away the haunting shadows. She found herself standing in a vast, sunlit landscape where life blossomed vibrantly around her. She closed her eyes, breathing deeply, embracing the new beginning. When Jenna opened her eyes again, she was back in the attic, the flickering candle casting a warm glow around the room. The papers lay still around her, their weight no longer heavy, they felt like a bridge to understanding and peace rather than a curse. She smiled softly to herself, feeling a surge of relief mixing with resolve. I can face anything now. Taking one last look around the attic, Jenna stepped out into the night, each step firm a promise to herself. The darkness that had once threatened to swallow her was now just a shadow behind her, never truly able to bind her again. She was free. As she walked down the quiet alley, she felt lighter than air, the moon casting a silver glow on her journey forward. Jenna had finally chosen to embrace her truth, her pain, her light, and she would never turn back. As she stepped onto the street, she knew this wasn't just an end, it was a beginning. So, listen up. This is your moment to step up too. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next exclusive stories coming your way. Smash that like button now to help feed the algorithm and keep these amazing tales alive. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this conclusion. We're dying to know what you think. And don't wait even one more second, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this empowering ending. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.